What's up, all you sparkling sorcerers? It's your resident prismatic wizard, and today we'll be tackling a concept that is core to any role-playing game, and that is characters. A rich cast of characters can turn a mere game into an epic story that you and your friends will be talking about for years afterwards. But, just as this cast of characters can spur the story forward, others could grind it to a halt. There's a lot that goes into creating an interesting and engaging character, but today we will be focusing on personality. What are the three things that make a person who they are, and how can we tie them into our role-playing characters? In order to discover the true character of a person, we must only look at what they most love. That is a quote from St. Augustine, and it is used in the literary world when trying to build a character that resonates with the audience. That's not necessarily what we're going for here, but it does achieve the same purpose. What is your character fighting for? It doesn't have to be love necessarily, it just has to be something that will spur them on, that they aren't willing to give up. What is your character willing to do exemplary or even extreme things for? That can help move the story forward, and it's what sets normal folk apart from protagonists. Let's find an example. Take Frodo Baggins, the legendary bearer of the One Ring. He goes through pain, suffering, and heartbreak for a cause that seems impossible to reach at times. But why would a hobbit from the Shire go to such great lengths to fix something that was brought about by the greed of men? The answer changes throughout the story, but my personal favorite is Frodo's love for the Shire. His heart is filled with the warm hearths and kind faces of his home, and that is that desire, that love that we're looking for. Every time Frodo is filled with doubt or fear, he can think back to the Shire, giving him the courage to fight on. The coolest part about this section is you can actually update it as you go. Every place you see, every person you meet can add to an ongoing list of loves that drives your character forward as they continue adventuring. The next thing that is important for your character to have is a weakness. This can be taken as literally or abstractly as you like, but it is something to give your character depth. At first, you might think that playing a character without a weakness that is good at everything and always wins would be fun, but that's not necessarily always the case. Weaknesses are what make your character interesting. It's what causes interesting conflict at your table because the GM doesn't have to come up with it. It's innately tied to your character. To get a better idea of this, let's take a look at another reference from The Lord of the Rings. Boromir, son of Denethor II, Herald of Gondor. I am a legendary warrior said to have taken on more than a score of Uruk-hai before my fall. I think that any of us would be happy if our characters turned out half as awesome as Tolkien's epic warrior. Boromir kicks butt, there's no doubt about it. But he also has a major flaw that gives his character more depth. Anyone who has read The Fellowship of the Ring knows that Boromir is weak to the corrupting power of the One Ring. This illustrates an important point because this weakness actually stems from Boromir's love. Boromir is intensely loyal to his country, and he sees it as in the inevitable path of destruction. And he will do whatever it takes to get the power he needs to save it. Well-made weaknesses like Boromir's bring depth to a character and stem from the character's desire. Weaknesses are also a great way to build in a character arc, as your character slowly realizes this weakness and begins to work through it. It also sets up moments of meaningful roleplay with the rest of the party as they help you to find out your weaknesses. The final component of your character is a fear. Throughout the story, they aren't only chasing towards what they love, they're actively running away from what they fear. This is a great way to add yet another layer of depth to your character, as they aren't only motivated by the idea of a reward ahead, but also by the consequences of what lies in store if they don't achieve that. Think about this as almost the inverse of your fear. Along those lines of reason, let's go back to our Frodo example. Frodo loves the Shire, and that's what drives him forward. However, he also can't stand the idea to think about what would happen if Sauron's armies swept through the Shire, destroying it completely. This makes sure that Frodo continues on his journey and continues his character arc. By tying a character's fear into the story, we add yet another layer of depth. This can also lead to situations where your character feels desperate and can push themselves beyond their normal limit. Now that we've covered all the components of a character separately, let's tie them all together and create an example character. So first off, we have our love, that which we desire most. The inverse of this is our fear, the dark future we are trying at all costs to avoid. Stemming from our desire is our weakness, the thing that stands between us and that which we love. Combined, all three of these components make a character that is destined for a meaningful journey and awesome roleplay. Now, let's build this character. Meet Alexander de Camp, the son and heir of an aristocratic noble family. Alexander lives and breathes the politics of the city, trained formally in the art of rhetoric and that of swordplay. More than anything, Alexander loves his family, and the pride and honor of his house mean more than anything to him. That's the desire we're talking about. However, when the king is killed and Alexander is framed, he must flee the city, leaving behind those who he loves most. For fear of disgracing them, he cannot return. That's the fear we're talking about. And without contacts and resources, he has no way of clearing his name. That's the weakness. Alexander is a character in motion, moving towards a goal. He is in need, so he will search out a party. And he also has a lot standing between him and his end goal. A character like this has a depth to them that will make them feel real to the people you're playing with. When it comes times to ask questions around the campfire, you will be the one who feels like an entirely new character, who is not only fun to play as, but is fun to play with. Alright everyone, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, go ahead and give it a big ol' thumbs up. If you're interested in more aspects of character creation, my bro over on No Dice put out an amazing video and a cheat sheet for character creation. Subscribe for more Prismatic Wizard shenanigans. Hop in the comments and tell me what other character-inspired videos you want me to do. And yeah, until then, keep it chromatic.